Welcome back to the ATU Sports Corner. I'm your host, Caden Hauser. We're without Brandon this week. He's out and about in the great natural state. We're without him, but no worries. I'm going to take care of it for this week, and what better way to start it with the NBA. We're down to just 20 games remaining, and we know what teams are contending, what teams are not. So let's do a segment called Finals or Fraud. And the first team we're going to talk about is, of course, the best team in the NBA, and that's the Oklahoma City Thunder. They come in at 47-15, and they're the only team so far to clinch a postseason berth. Shea's averaging 31.8 points per game, 6.4 assists, shooting 55% from the field with 2.2 stocks. They have the highest net rating in the NBA at 11.1. The next highest is the Boston Celtics at 8.6. They have the highest defensive rating in the league. They've looked great all year, even through injuries. Shea has been battling to come back, came back for one game. He's out again. I just haven't personally seen a team that's going to keep up. No one's went back-to-back since the Warriors about a decade ago. But if there's going to be a team that does it, we haven't seen a team this complete since then. I think the Thunder have it in the cards, so they're going to get a finals bid from me. The next team up, the Detroit Pistons. They have technically the best record in the league right now at 45-15, and they have the second best defensive rating right behind the Thunder. And clearly that's what's going to win basketball games this year, in my opinion, in the NBA. The league is so offensive heavy, so if you're going to win, it's going to have to be on the defensive side of the ball. They have Jalen Duren, Isaiah Stewart, Asar Thompson, people that can make plays all over the court for them. Cade is having an MVP-level season. He's sitting at third in the MVP voting. He's moving closer and closer to Shea and Jokic every single day, it feels like. And I just like this Pistons crew. They are getting some slack because they are too young. But was that not the same narrative for the Oklahoma City Thunder just last year? I know the Pistons made the playoffs last year, back this year. Is that not what the Oklahoma City Thunder did? I understand the Pistons didn't make it as far last year, but there's no reason for them to get slack just because they've been bad for so long. I think the Pistons are a true contender, and they can get a finals bid, in my opinion. Next up is the San Antonio Spurs, kicking it back to the West. They're sitting at 43-17. Took a very rough loss to the New York Knicks last night, but they're still 9-1 in their last 10. Wemby's averaging 23.7 points per game. He's been phenomenal. He's been healthy, and that's what you want if you're a San Antonio fan. If you're living in the state of Texas, that's what you want. And he's averaging 11.2 boards along with it and 3 blocks. And they have 8 different players in double figures. And their backcourt, this is what I like the most about this Spurs team. It's the backcourt. De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper. Dylan Harper doesn't get as much credit as he deserves in this rookie class. He's overshadowed by Con Kneppel, by Cooper Flagg. He's played great. Give the man his credit, give him his props. De'Aaron Fox has been a top point guard in the league for a long time now. Stephon Castle in his second year. He's been phenomenal. He's done everything that he's been asked of. And even when Wemby does go out for a couple games, this team still looks decent. They can still keep up with the top dogs. I want to give them a finals bid. I just talked them up. They're going to have to get a fraud rating just because of how tight this is in the West. Teams are so close. And if they were to face a team like the Nuggets, we'll get to them in a second. I don't think they come out in that series. Next is the Boston Celtics. They're sitting at 41-20. They've had a very good year. Joe Mazzulla, obviously one of the best coaches in the NBA. It's not close. And without their star player, Jason Tatum, they've filled that vacancy nice. Peyton Pritchard, Derek White, averaging 17.1 points per game from the two of them. Jaylen Brown having an MVP-level season. He's averaging 29.5. And the team has looked solid all around. They're tied with the Nuggets for the highest offensive rating in the NBA. When you're led by Joe Mazzulla, he's one of the youngest, if not the youngest coach in the NBA. They still compete at a high level. The East is so weak. No one's good over there, in my opinion. And it's really knotted up between seeds 3 through 5. With the 1 seed Pistons, they look good. Celtics sitting at the 2 seed. I give them a finals bid. Next up, it's the Houston Rockets. They're sitting at 38-22, and they're 8 games out of that first place. That's going to be relevant here in just a second. KD's averaging 26.3 points per game. Şengün averaging 20.5, 9.2 rebounds, and 6.3 assists. But this team is not smart with the ball. They still do not have a true point guard. Reed Sheppard, he doesn't do it for me. Amin Thompson. I have to say, I'm a fan of Amin Thompson's game. I love Amin Thompson as a player. I think he makes all of the right hustle plays. But his shooting worries me. You can't be a high-level player like that and not have a jumper. That just doesn't work in today's game. You can't be your size, not able to work in the post, and not have a jump shot. I mean, that's the case for a lot of these OTE guys, these guys that didn't go to college. They're athletes. They're basketball players, but they're athletes. Out of them, who's been great? Amin's the best out of all of them, but he has no jump shot. His brother Asar has no jump shot. They can't shoot. They don't play very great team basketball, and the Rockets don't in general. Ime Udoka's a great coach, but this is a rowdy group. I give the Rockets, they're some frauds. Next up, the New York Knicks. They're 39-22 overall. They're 23-8 at home. One of the best home teams in the league. At MSG, they're phenomenal. I mean, you can watch them night in and night out. Jalen Brunson, he will give you an MVP-type performance at MSG. 15-14 on the road. And you know where they're going to be playing in the playoffs? They're going to be on the road. Brunson's averaging 26.7 and 6 assists, and Cat's averaging right under 20 points per game and 11.8 rebounds. But I don't trust Cat farther than I can throw him on the defensive side of the ball, especially in the playoffs when you're going to have to be guarding very talented centers. They're not going to be able to hang defensively, especially if they're on the road. Give me a fraud rating for the New York Knicks. The Minnesota Timberwolves, 38-23. They have one of the best players in the NBA in Anthony Edwards, and you could even say they have a top dynamic duo with Julius Randle. He's averaging 21.5 points per game also, and they're 8.5 games out. Them and the Rockets, that's eight games out, 8.5 games out, right there. They're averaging 119.1 points per game at 5th. Ant's averaging 29.5 points per game. He's a top player in the league. They made 2 Western Conference Finals appearances. Haven't done anything with it. I'm going to have to see something out of this Timberwolves team before I give them that finals rating, especially with how tight the West is. Timberwolves are a fraud. Cleveland Cavaliers made a big acquisition to get James Harden at that trade deadline, 38-24, averaging 119.2 points per game. That's 3rd in the NBA. Donovan Mitchell, he's averaging 28.5 points per game, having one of the best years of his career. James Harden averaging 19 and 8 assists. Evan Mobley, 17 and 8 and 2 blocks per game. He's one of the best defensive centers in the league. Jared Allen's had a very good year. Jalen Tyson has been very good for them. This Cavs team is phenomenal. I love it on paper. Keep that on paper. I love this Cavs team on paper. You look at it, they're great. I'm not trusting them in the playoffs. I didn't even trust them in the playoffs before they got James Harden. What has he ever done? I'm a Thunder fan. We never did anything in the playoffs with him. Moved to the Rockets. What did he do? Nothing. He can't perform in the playoffs, and this roster isn't going to be able to do it with him. I give the Cleveland Cavaliers a fraud rating. Next up, the Denver Nuggets. They're the last team I'm going to talk about here. 38-24, and they're 9 games out. That 3 through 5 seed right there in the Western Conference. They're 8, 8.5, and 9 games out of that first seeded place. Looking to interchange a lot here in this last 20 games. They're averaging 120.5 points per game, 1st in the NBA. They're shooting 49.3% from the field, 1st in the NBA. But they're giving up 116.1 points per game. That's 19th. That man right there, Nikola Jokic, he's great offensively. I mean, listen to these stats. He's averaging 28.7 points, 12 rebounds, 10 assists, one of the biggest defensive liabilities in the NBA. And it's unfortunate, but the rest of the roster is great. Peyton Watson, they're about to get him back. Aaron Gordon, Christian Brown. Jamal Murray's having one of the better years of his career, averaging 25 points per game. This roster's great. If anyone's going to compete in the playoffs, they've been in the playoffs for quite a few years now. They've won a title. I'm going to give them a finals rating because this team, they're complete. They love to play basketball together. Jokic is enjoying it. Got in a little scuffle with the Thunder the other night. I didn't appreciate that. But I'm going to give the Nuggets a finals rating because if anyone's going to do it out of the West, it's going to be the Spurs, Thunder, or Nuggets. That's all we have for NBA. We're going to kick it to break. When we get back, we're going to have some March Madness action.
Deliver the information you need when it matters most. As misinformation floods social media, you can trust us to deliver the truth. We are broadcasters.
What's up, NFL fans? Quarterback Josh Dobbs here. You may know me as the Pastronaut. This is my time. On the rise. Can't hold me down, I'm too fly. This is my time. I've always loved space and football. Growing up, some people told me I had to choose. But here's the deal. You can be great at more than one thing, and getting involved in STEM opens up your world to a universe of opportunities in life. Space isn't just for the astronauts.
It's for all of us. It's not just for engineers like myself. It's for teachers,
students,
designers, mechanics, scientists,
and millions of football fans across the world.
3, 2, 1, watch out, here I come. This is my time. On the rise, can't hold me down, I'm too fly. This is my time.
Get inspired and get involved today. There are STEM programs and science centers available in your community, so be sure to check out spaceforall.us to learn more and get started.
This is my time.
After all, there are no limits when there are footprints on the moon. Find your place in space. Space for all.
And we are back for the final segment of this show. We just got two for you today, and I got a fun name for this one too. It's March Madness. It's the best month of the year, personally. No bias for any reason. We got Blue Bloods and Bracket Busters. I couldn't be more excited for March Madness. It's finally here. We're 2 weeks away. Tournament starts on March 19th. That's when the first round gets kicked off. It's the best time of the year. It's Christmas for sports. But for some Blue Bloods, these are the contenders, the top dogs, people I would put in my bracket Elite Eight Final Four, no doubt in my mind. First team is a true Blue Blood, and that's the Duke Blue Devils. They've been phenomenal. They're ranked #1 for a reason. Cameron Boozer is phenomenal. He's the best player in the country. You can argue me all day. You want to tell me Darren Peterson? Wrong. He's not playing. No continuity. You want to tell me A.J. DeBonsta? Where's BYU at? Where are they at? You know where Duke's at? They're #1. That's for a reason. John Shire's a great coach. You can't tell me that Cameron Boozer's not the best player in college basketball right now. He's averaging 22.6 points, 10 rebounds. He's great on the defensive side of the ball. He's shooting 40% from three. He doesn't take a lot of them, but he's efficient. He's going to make them if he's shooting them. Isaiah Evans averaging 14.6. That's a great tandem duo. They're the tallest team in the nation. They play united basketball. Coach K would be proud of this team. I'm sure he is. He still watches these games. They're playing like a Coach K team right now. There's a team that I'm going to put all my money on to make it to the Elite Eight. It's going to be the Duke Blue Devils. And another team that's competing at a high level, they just picked up a huge win last night. That's the Arizona Wildcats. They beat Iowa State last night, 57-73. Braden Burry's averaging 15.5 points per game. Jaden Bradley, 13.9. Koa Pete, 13.3. And they're second in rebounding in the nation at 43.2 a game. When it comes tournament time, there's two things that I want a team to have in the tournament. And you'd be surprised, it's not even going to be offense. It's going to be defensive unity, and it's going to be rebounding. If you can't rebound the ball, you're not even going to get to play offense. And they rebound the ball at a high level. That's going to give their shooters open looks. Braden Burry's, that's going to give them the ball. Jaden Bradley going to give him the ball. Koa Pete rebounds at a high level. Krivos rebounds at a high level. They get the ball out. They push in transition. They're a solid team. They picked up a huge win against Iowa State. I couldn't feel more confident in this Wildcat team. I said 2 weeks ago that I think they're the best team in the nation. Them and Duke, they're neck and neck in my opinion. I love the Wildcats. Next up is another big team, and that's the UConn Huskies. They picked up a huge win not too long ago on February 25th against St. John's, 40-72. That hurts to say. St. John's was my preseason pick to be champs. Not looking great. Solo Ball's been great, not efficiently, but he's averaging 14 points. Terrace Reed, 13.7 points per game, 2 blocks. Alex Caravan, he's been there a while. He's averaging 13 points. If they can limit turnovers, they can make it to the title game. If they can limit turnovers. They're one of the best teams around. They struggle to keep their ball in their hands, especially whenever they get pushed, whenever the tempo's rushing on them. They kind of get a little shaky. So If the Huskies can slow down, I think they're a title contender. And next up, we're going to have our bracket busters. This isn't just going to be Cinderella teams or teams from small conferences that can do well. This is going to be some big-time teams, too, that I have no faith in. And the first one is just like that, and it's been like that since I've watched college basketball, and that's the Purdue Boilermakers. I wouldn't put a penny on the Purdue Boilermakers to make it to the Sweet 16. I just wouldn't. I don't think Braden Smith, he's great. He's born in Russellville, right where we're at, in case you didn't know. And he's a phenomenal player. So is Troy Kaufman-Wren. But if they're not knocking down shots, or Fletcher Lawyer, if they're having a slightly off night, it's just wraps. They're too slow on the perimeter. The perimeter defense, it's not great. And if they're not knocking down, they're very reliant on getting streaky. And if they do, then you have to pray to the basketball gods that they're going to miss. That's all you can do if they're knocking down shots. But like I just said in the tournament, I want defense and I want rebounding. I don't want a heavy offensive team. When does that prove to be good in the tournament? Houston made it to the championship last year off of pure defense. So I don't want an offensive heavy team. Next up is a team that is offensive heavy, but they also rebound the ball at a high level for the conference that they come from, and that's the South Florida Bulls. They're 21-8. They've won 7 in a row. Isaiah Nelson, he's 6'10", averaging 16.2 and 10 rebounds. He's been phenomenal. Wes Ennis averaging 16 points per game, and Joseph Pinion, Morrilton's own, averaging 14.5 points per game, and he's shooting 38.5% from three. This team's great. They got a lot of transfers from Arkansas State. That's where their coach came from. And they look good. I really like this team. They're 4th in the nation in rebounding from the American Conference. They're 1st in their conference. They rebound the ball at a high level, play good offense. Defense ain't bad. I think the Bulls can make a push, especially if they get in the tournament. 1st in their conference right now. Give me South Florida. Final team that we're going to talk about, and this is a team I have no faith in. Did last year. I had them to win my bracket last year. Had a few more scorers on that roster. That's the Houston Cougars. I can't watch Houston basketball. If you turn a Houston basketball game on, I'm just not going to watch it. I'm just not. And I hate to say that because I love Kelvin Sampson. He's one of my favorite coaches in college basketball. But they cannot put that ball in the basket if it was the ocean. They can't. They just can't put the ball in the basket. And it's unfortunate for how good their defense is. They have the 2nd best defense in college basketball behind Northern Iowa. And they're phenomenal. But they're ranked 143rd in offense in points per game. 12th in the Big 12. That's not going to be a recipe for success in the tournament. I know I just said I love defense and rebounding, and they do that at a high level. But not if you're ranked 143rd in offense. You got to at least be able to score somewhat. They lost 3 games in a row. I know they were top teams. It was Iowa State, Arizona, and Kansas. But they couldn't put the ball in the ocean. So I just don't trust this Houston team. So Houston and Purdue, please don't put them far in your tournaments and your brackets. Please don't. South Florida, look out for them. Arizona, they're going to be up there. Duke's going to be up there. It's going to be a great tournament. I couldn't be more excited for March Madness or the end of this NBA season. And we'll be back next week to talk about it here on Tuesday. My main man, Brandon, will be back with me. And I couldn't be more excited. Hope you all have a great week. We'll be back next Tuesday.